I just want to say a few words at the beginning of this exchange on three key points. First, our economic strategy, and just to make a wrap-up of where we are in terms of reforms. Second, the fact that we prepare as well in this context of the crisis, the economy and our society for the next decades and the long-term vision. And third, one word about Europe. I just wanted, for the first remark, to reaffirm to all of you that our economic strategy is clearly to reform the country and to have a pro-business agenda. Over the last 3 years, France generated more economic growth than most Western European countries. If I take the figures right before crisis, we lowered our unemployment rate to the lowest level over 10 years. And since 2017, we've had every year a positive net balance of job creation in industry for the first time since the beginning of the centenary. We are also proud to be home of one of the world's most dynamic innovation ecosystems, generating 9 new unicorns since 2017. And when I look at the figures, by the way, of 2020, we are number one in terms of funds being raised as well. As a result, we became for the first time ever the most attractive European country for foreign investment in 2019. Our structural reforms are paying off as well, and therefore we can't and won't slow down. The corporate tax rate will be reduced to 25% by next year. It's been voted, by the way. We won't give up on the removal of the wealth tax. In addition, we are reducing production taxes by 10 billion euros per year for companies doing business in France. This is unprecedented and voted as well at our parliament a few months ago. We are keeping cutting down red tape and make the daily life of investors simpler and more predictable. And what we want to do is to accelerate and simplify public action. And we passed a law voted last month by Parliament, providing as well several measures to facilitate the installation of new industrial sites or extensions, leading to significant reductions up to several months in permitting delays and so on. And we are increasing the availability of skilled workers with a 25 billion euro effort over the next 10 years to further reinforce our graduate and postgraduate education system. This is just, in a nutshell, the fact that we passed a series of reforms, we are passing additional reforms, and we will keep reforming the countries in order to make it more competitive and attractive for the coming months. My second remark is about how, in such a context, we do prepare the next decade and our country and our continent for 2030, with 4 major issues: education, health, green, and digital. We are implementing a 100 billion euro France Relance, which is our recovery plan, tailored during the summer, voted during the autumn, with 3 key objectives: speeding up the greening of the economy, increasing French competitiveness, and developing skills to reduce unemployment. Our first priority is the implementation of the 30 billion euro dedicated to the ecological transition, including 2 billion in hydrogen, and key measures in energy retrofitting of buildings, carbon intensity reduction of industrial sites, development of green infrastructures and sustainable mobility modes, and so on. Second, digital transformation is also part of the plan. Our 4th investment program for the future will mobilize 20 billion euros as part of the stimulus plan between now and 2022 in order to accelerate our transition. So, as I told you, education, health, green, digital, the 4 pillars to build the France in 2030, with an investment program without any comparison, and with a lot of, as well, cooperation with other countries. And this is my third and last remark, Europe. Indeed, for me, one of the key elements of this crisis was how Europe will react and would react. When you look at the financial crisis 12 years ago, I think we procrastinated a lot, and it took time to Europe basically to react and took the right decisions at that time, and the US fixed much more rapidly the situation. When I look at our situation facing crisis today. I think this is exactly the opposite. Europe reacted very rapidly. We found a Franco-German agreement in May 2020, and we found a European agreement in July 2020. So very rapidly, with the new budget program, but as well as the recovery plan, with a unique package and a big transformation of the way to fund our policies and to decide all together to have ambition and solidarity. It allowed us basically to, right after, to have our national program. But I think this is a very important step forward and a big game changer. My second point is that during this period of time, we reinforced an idea that I several times advocated with you and during our discussions, strategic autonomy. I do believe that in such a context, Europe has to be much more sovereign in a certain way, i.e. to re-increase its strategic autonomy in terms of energy, healthcare system, IT, and so on. It doesn't mean refusing to cooperate. This is exactly the opposite. This is increasing cooperations, open cooperations, but without having a situation of 100% dependency. I think you can cooperate when you are not dependent from another power, another continent, and so on. And the changeover of administration in America is, in such a context, definitely an opportunity to pursue in a totally peaceful and calm manner what allies need to understand among themselves. So for me, this period of time is a big game changer in terms of European policies. And we have to basically to elaborate and consolidate this European strategy to do much more, and I can revert on that obviously during our discussion. Dear friends, here are the three remarks I wanted just to start with. Obviously, we have a lot of challenges. The pandemic is not over. Probably the coming months, at least till spring and summer, the pandemic will frame a lot of our decisions. Second, we still have the climate change issue. We will have basically the decoupling between China and the USA, and we will have a lot of other transformations to face. But I think that based on what we delivered during the 3 past years, and based on the way we reacted collectively to the crisis, we have positive elements to face this crisis and provide our citizens, our people, the right answers altogether. Now I'm here to answer your questions.